everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am finally back with a true cooking video. And the reason I decided to make this recipe today is because the sun came out in Washington. So I wanted to make one of my family's favorite summer appetizers. I'm gonna show you how we make our spinach dip with a bunch of fresh veggies. It is so good, super colorful, really easy to do, and I'm gonna show you exactly how to make it. Now, quick disclaimer, this actually isn't my recipe. It's the Knorr spinach dip recipe. We made a few little tweaks, but it's basically that recipe. So I'll link it down below. I'm not trying to take credit for this, but I did want to share it because I've been eating this for as long as I can remember, and it is a family favorite for sure. All right, we're gonna do a quick ingredient list. We got a bunch of fresh veggies to dip. So I got cucumbers, red bell peppers, a bunch of really colorful carrots because I think it makes it really pretty, and some green onions. Then you're gonna need frozen spinach. This is key. I'm just draining it right now to get any of that extra moisture, and we'll squeeze it out later, but the frozen spinach is key. Don't get fresh spinach, get the frozen. Then you want some sour cream and some mayo as well. This is actually what makes the recipe special and like not my recipe because we're using the Knorr vegetable mix. The recipe is actually on the back of here as well. So when you pick this up, definitely make sure you get this brand and this exact one. And then last but not least, I have some bread. So I really like dipping these little like baguette rounds in the spinach dip. It's super good. And last but not least, if you want to be a little bit extra, you can serve it in a bread bowl. I'm gonna show you how to make it, and I will say it takes the presentation level up a notch, but of course this isn't like the most healthy option. But we got a bunch of veggies, so it's still gonna be really fresh and perfect for the summer. Let's get right into it. This is gonna happen very quickly, so pay attention. All right, so we're gonna start with our spinach dip. The first thing that you need for spinach dip is your spinach. So I have my frozen spinach here, and like I said, I let it thaw, and I've been letting it drain, but you really wanna make sure you get as much water out as possible so that the dip doesn't get really watery. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go in with my hands like this and squeeze out the water and then add it to my bowl. You can also use a cheesecloth. That's probably like the cleaner way to do it, but I didn't have one, so we're just gonna use our hands. Get all of that liquid out. So I'll link the recipe down below, and they call for 10 ounces of spinach, but my family likes doubling the spinach. So it's up to you, but I think it makes the color a lot better and you get more veggies in. All right, a little bit more, just get that last little bit. Bam. All right, now I'm gonna go in with 1 cup of mayo right in here, and then 16 ounces of sour cream. Then we're gonna add in our veggie mix. So just 1 packet. I just got it at my local grocery store, and just dump the contents right into the bowl. Now we're gonna give it a really good mix and make sure everything's incorporated. And make sure you really break that spinach up. Because we squeezed it, it's really like clumped together. So you wanna make sure that that gets fully incorporated into the mix. The fact that we doubled the spinach and there's still like barely any blows my mind, but feel free to add as much spinach as you want. My family's been doubling the spinach for years, so this is my favorite way to have it. Okay, perfect. So it should look like this. It's a pretty thick consistency, the perfect dip. So we're gonna set this aside and we're gonna prep all the rest of our veggies so that we can assemble it. All right, so when it comes to the veggies, totally customizable. I'm gonna show you my favorites. I'm gonna start with a cucumber. I'm just gonna cut this into little slices and then set it aside. I like to make sure that my cucumber slices aren't too thin because the dip is pretty thick. So if it's really thin and you try to scoop it, it's just gonna be flimsy and fall apart. So make sure you got a good substance to the slice. I'm gonna start putting all my veggies on this board. This is what I wanna use to display everything. My mom got this for her birthday and it's so pretty. So I'm gonna just set it right here and start with my cucumbers on one end. So I'm gonna sort of serve this like cheese board style, just mounding all of the veggies and bread onto a board. I think it looks really pretty and it gives super easy access so that everyone can get in there and dip. All right, next up, I'm gonna do a red bell pepper. The taste of red, orange, and yellow honestly are pretty similar. I just think that the red pops and makes this board look gorgeous. Now I'm just gonna cut this into little slices, so cut it down the middle, and then just like this. So you've got a perfect little slice that's easy to dip. And add those to the board as well. All right, now we're moving on to the carrots, and I'm super excited about this because I got rainbow carrots. So what I'm gonna do to make them extra pretty is I'm gonna peel them. We cut off the tops, compost these, you don't want them. So now what I'm gonna do is take a peeler set my carrot on the board and just peel off the skin. And you can see I washed them, but it's still kind of dusty and gross. When you peel it, the colors get so much more vibrant and they're way prettier. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is take one of my carrots. I'm gonna trim the stems a little bit, but I still wanna keep it on because it's gonna be a little handle. And then I'm going to quarter this carrot. So down this way and down this way to create little baby strips. All right, so now you got these little strips and they're so gorgeous when you get the colorful carrots. I mean, hello. I'm gonna put those on my board facing up to show off how pretty they are. All right, so I found some celery in my fridge and I do wanna add this because I really like celery and spinach dip. It's so crunchy. So I'm gonna add those to my board, just like this. And now the last dipping item we have are these little rounds. I'm just gonna add them to the very end of my board. You can toast them, you can cut them fresh. I just grabbed these at my local grocery store. And we're just gonna add them right to that very corner as the final dipping item. One tip I have for when you're making your boards is try not to put like the same color next to each other. So I got green cucumbers and green celery, but I sort of split them up a little bit. It just makes everything look more even and a lot more pretty. And on that note, we have bread on this corner. We're gonna add bread on the other corner. We're gonna finish this recipe up by making a bread bowl to serve it in. So I'm a little out of practice of making these videos and I completely forgot to put my green onions in my spinach dip. So what I'm gonna do is cut about half of these and then go mix them in really quickly and let it sit. And then I'll cut the other half and you can use it as some garnish. Bear with me, I'm getting the hang of things. It's been a while. All right, so for those of you who don't know what a bread bowl is, actually, it's a bowl made out of bread. So what I'm gonna do is take this round sourdough loaf and I'm going to cut like this and then scoop out the inside so we have a place to put our spinach dip. If you are new to the kitchen, I definitely recommend you grab an adult to do this step because it can be a big knife and it's a little dangerous. Have them cut it and then you can just scoop out all the insides and finish up the recipe on your own. So you're gonna start by cutting off your lid, just like this, right off the top. Then I'm gonna take my knife and run it along the sides like this. And from there, you just get in and you scoop out all of the insides just like this. And don't throw this away. You can either just eat it like this. You can also dip this in the spinach dip as well. You can turn it into croutons, breadcrumbs, but don't toss it because it's perfectly good bread. The more you hollow out, the more space you'll have for the spinach dip. So I definitely recommend that you make a really big cut because look at all that room that we got in there. All right, so the very last step is grab that spinach dip out of the fridge and fill up your bowl. So this recipe is the perfect amount for a bread bowl. I mean, it fits in there perfectly. Make sure you clean up the edges a little bit so it looks extra pretty. And we're gonna add this baby right to that corner. It's so pretty. I'm gonna finish it off with a few green onions that I kept from earlier. That is how I make spinach dip and veggies. It is so beautiful. I mean, imagine bringing this to a party and setting it down at the table and being like, I made that. It's so simple, but it really is a crowd pleaser. I mean, I'm about to bring this over to a family dinner and I can guarantee you, every single item on this board is gonna be gone within just a few minutes. I'm putting this on my Instagram story. Everyone go follow my Instagram. My personal favorite is a bell pepper. I just think you can't beat the crunch. I'm gonna take a little bit right on there. This right here reminds me of summer. The spinach dip is super creamy and packed with flavor. Then you got your super crunchy veggies. It really is the perfect combination. This is one of those recipes that tastes so much better when you let it sit. So I recommend, honestly, just make it the night before, pop it in your fridge, and then when you're ready to take it to your party or your barbecue, it tastes phenomenal. I just got really lazy and impatient and I wanted to eat it right away, so I only let it sit for like 30 minutes or so, but it still does taste good. All right, I'm gonna go wrap this up and bring it over to my family dinner that we're having tonight. So I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this a try and let me know what you think, and I will see you all in my next video.